The Honorable Ronald C. Rice.
Good afternoon. Today is a day of thanks, appreciation, and gratitude. So before I thank anyone else, I want to thank God Almighty, who thought it not robbery to look upon someone like myself, a third-generation Newarker, born in the South Ward but made a man in the West Ward of the City of Newark, and fashioned out of his great crucible somebody he did not think was unworthy to try to lead other folks in his community. I also want to thank the great and conscientious voters of the West Ward of the City of Newark for your support, for your prayers, and for joining this movement of remaking the West Ward into our motto of one ward, one family. I want to thank you for supporting me with over 78% of your votes and honoring my candidacy with majorities in each and every district of the ward. It meant the world to me to win in every district. Thank you so much for your love and your support and for backing what we're trying to get done for each and every one in our ward. To my council staff, Annette, James, Spencer, Tyrone, Chris, thank you all so much for working 7 days a week besides your councilman and your boss to deliver services to our residents. To my campaign staff, to my father, Senator Rice, and this is the second time a governor has taken my daddy away from my inauguration, but I can't get too mad because one was a Democrat and one was a Republican, but to my father who is going to go down to Trenton right now and vote, to my mother who could not be here, to family members, Mayor Booker, my colleagues here now and formerly, my church family, the St. James family that continues to love me despite my delinquencies, I say thank you for all that you do and continue to do, not only on my behalf, and I love you all for what you do in your various walks of life as we make Newark better. President John F. Kennedy said in 1959 that when written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters, one representing danger and the other representing opportunity. We are in critical times in the city of Newark, as is the nation, and we must appreciate the impending danger, but we must also act boldly in the opportunity as it presents itself to also bring all of us together to work as public servants. To that end, I am pleased to offer the West Ward and the City of Newark my plan of action for the first 100 days of office starting today. And specifically, over the next 100 days, my colleagues and I hope they will join in working on all these issues. We're going to propose, again, pay-to-play reform legislation for contract and redevelopment because it is time to finish the ethics reforms we started in 2006 once and for all. I hope to propose a city council committee restructuring because our current structure is old, antiquated, and has no real value in the 21st century Newark, period. We will begin the creation of the West Ward Economic Development Corporation because it is time to set the model for the rest of the city for small business development, marketing and support, and job creation by us, for us. We will complete the work of the City Council's ad hoc committee investigating alleged disciplinary disparity within the Newark Police Department and final report and legislative recommendations because the City of Newark must lead the state in reforming the inner workings of our police department for the protection of tax-paying citizens and those who wear the blue and in the interest of real transparency. We will propose the establishment of a green team and an Office of Environmental Affairs and a Mayor's Committee for Green Future, a Newark Green Building Ordinance for municipal buildings and capital projects, sponsor green building private sector legislation, propose environmentally preferable purchasing legislation, propose stormwater legislation, and sponsor energy fund legislation. We will also propose legislation requiring Newark to support sustainable land use because it is time, way past time, to finally get serious in this city about firmly fixing Newark's role as a green city and integrate sustainability throughout all municipal operations and the entire city infrastructure. We will propose slumlord and absentee landlord accountability legislation because I'm tired of fighting against these folks in my ward that continue to abuse us, continue to disrespect us, and continue to treat us like our laws don't matter when they wouldn't do the same thing in Livingston. We have to pass this legislation because we simply have not done enough to punish and hold these folks accountable who violate and disrespect our community. We will draft legislation in the first 100 days that will require 2% of all professional contracts to give to community contributions because all non-bidding contract holders in our city should do more to support the communities in need within our city. We will sponsor a community advisory board requirement legislation for every city board and authority because greater transparency and accountability equals better government, period. We will sponsor legislation to establish a Newark Code of Ethics because too many in city government have violated our laws for over 50 years and a bar of appropriate conduct must be set and set high. We will create a Newark Resident Budget Committee because it is past time that the City of Newark include more residents of goodwill into the decision-making processes of city government and follow our sister cities like Orange and other places in making sure people have a greater role. We will create a Newark Empowerment Civics program because we need to teach what government can and cannot do and what our citizens' rights, responsibilities, and duties are and how to hold us all accountable to one another and to one standard. Lastly, we will convene a strategy conference of New Jersey cities and towns to fight for an independent monitor citizen review board because the problems of alleged police brutality and harassment are not germane to Newark, but are a long-standing problem in many communities, and we are all going to have to work collectively to get the power to have greater oversight, and that fight starts not in the halls of City Hall. That fight starts south in the halls of state government Trenton, and we will be appealing to Governor Christie and our legislators to give the cities the power to use our subpoena to empower whoever we think needs the necessary to come forward to hold our folks accountable. It's a new term, and that's going to require a new responsibility and vision. Let's celebrate today, and let's always recognize and appreciate the challenges of our city. But now is the time for real talk and real solutions to solve real problems. And I'm so glad I'm with my colleagues and with the mayor because now it's time to get busy and get to work. To the West Ward specifically, we're going to continue to pull together in the same direction for all of the West Ward, not one section against another, not one block against another, not one school against another. We are going to continue to push to come together, and the reality is this, that if you are not part of the collective solution, you are a part of the abject failure. Newark, West Ward, it's time to start to get to work. And we need each and every one of you to continue to work with us. It's not enough to just vote and put us in office. We need each and every one of you on the battlefield alongside us, with your slingshots, with your guns, with your swords. Pick up something. As Adam Clayton Powell said, what's in your hand? Young David, with one rock and a slingshot, slew Goliath. What's in your hand? I tell you, we have a lot more on our hands than we give ourselves credit for. And now it's time to ante up to show and prove to the rest of the city. God bless Newark, God bless the great state of New Jersey, and God bless America. I love you, Newark. Let's get busy, let's get to work.